going on, guys? It's a beautiful Tuesday. I'm out at the range. I forgot my Kestrel, so we're just gonna wing this today, but it's all good because I'm not gonna be doing actually a lot of shooting. I've got something new for you guys. I'm working on some video ideas of things I can put out there that are gonna help make you a better shooter. And the first thing I thought about was stability and accuracy. You can have the most accurate gun possible. You can have the most high-dollar rig built, but if you can't get stable and make the perfect shot, it's all for naught. So I come out to the range today. I've got my 33XC. I got the trigger cam back from South Africa so you can see what's going on through the scope as I'm shooting, as I'm taking dry fire shots, things I'm talking about, and you're going to be able to see what I'm seeing. So finally, we've got that back. Hopefully this one's good to go. It can handle the percussion and the recoil of the bigger guns. They've worked up something special for me. And so stay tuned, guys. Follow along. This is going to be good stuff. So I get a lot of questions on my videos about how I get so stable before my shots. And that was kind of where I was kind of wanting to go with this, to kind of give you guys an idea of what I go through as I am preparing to take a shot. The first thing is obviously a solid bipod. I also get a lot of questions about this front mat that I have. It's nothing fancy. I've actually had people want me to make them and ship them to them, and there's no reason to do that. This is just a front door mat from Walmart that was like $8 or something, and it's just glued to a rubber mat with some spray adhesive. So ultimately what I'm going for is a straight back recoil, and I want the gun to recoil straight back like it's on rails. And with the Accutac bipod and these skis in conjunction with my airfoil bag, that's literally what I'm looking for, like it's on a track. So that's going to be part of recoil management, but it's also going to be a part of the stability I was talking about. So you probably heard me talk about Brian Litz. Everybody knows Brian, the owner of Applied Ballistics. The guy's a total genius. You'll actually see some of Brian's videos where the gun will start to move before the projectile leaves the end of the barrel. And that's what got me thinking about this a lot more, where if you have some sort of a load on the back of the gun, there's a possibility that your shot is going to change path between the time that you squeeze the trigger and the time that the bullet leaves the barrel, if you have some sort of an external force on the back of the gun. So with the airfoil bag, what I'm going for, let's turn this thing on. All right. So, if you have some sort of an external force on the back of the gun, some sort of an external load, what can happen when you squeeze the trigger, when the gun starts to recoil and it starts to move, is that you're going to actually come off of the shot, and we're not talking a lot, but we're talking enough that it can make a difference in doing load development, that you're seeing some anomalies, and it could be you could be the factor. So I brought along a game changer type bag. Now, nothing against these bags. They're great bags for lots of situations. But for zeroing a rifle, for shooting prone and for shooting in bench, I think that, you know, something that where you can take more of the human element out of the shot for maximum accuracy, you're going to find that you're actually getting better groups. So let's pull the airfoil out, put the game changer in. Now you can basically run the game changer about 1,000,000 different ways. You know, you can actually put the stock in here. You can actually set it. See, a lot of guys run it where it's just on the side. So I'm quite a ways over it now. Where am I? I don't even know. I can't even find the target. There we go. So when you're, good Lord. So when you're getting on target, you're typically holding some pressure on the bag. You know, if you run a Game Changer or a squeeze bag, you're going to be holding pressure on it with your hand. You're going to be putting pressure into it with your shoulder. You're going to be putting a cheek weld into it. And there's a lot of external forces that are happening at the rear of the stock. So what you've got is you're manipulating the back of the stock with a bunch of different forces. So right now I'm holding onto it with my hand. I'm squeezing here. I've got shoulder pressure here. I've got a little bit of front pressure that I'm holding it against my shoulder with my right hand. I got my cheek weld on it, and all these things to put it right on the bullseye. Now I can keep it nice and solid and dry fire if I cock the bolt. See, now I'm way over it again. But let's do something. I'm gonna let go of everything and see where it goes. So I'm in the clouds. So typically after a recoil, that's where we're at. We're in the clouds, we're readjusting, we're getting it back on target again. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. It's probably because I'm not really used to running a Game Changer type bag. There's probably somebody out there that's way more apt to it than me because I'm obviously pretty biased towards the Airfoil bag, but so are a lot of other people. Read the reviews on the website. Okay, I'm back on here. Cock the bolt. And let go of it. That load has to go somewhere. You're putting a load on the back of the gun. You're using a bunch of different forces. You've got a force obviously underneath it from the bag. You've got a force that you're squeezing against. You know, you got a force on the front, on the side, on the cheek, and all of those things play into what's going to happen to the gun under recoil and even before the projectile leaves the barrel. Now, I'm going to throw the Airfoil bag back under it. That's hard to do laying down. Oh, there we go. What I go for with the Airfoil bag is getting it on target, taking as much human element out of the shot as possible. When is this gun the most stable? Right now. So I'm not touching it. It's completely stable. What makes the gun unstable? You do. When you're handling it, when you got your cheek on it, when you got your hands on it, when you got your bag, you got your squeeze bag and you're putting pressure into it, that's when the gun is unstable. So what I'm trying to do is get this thing aligned to where I'm perfectly on target with touching the gun as minimally as possible. Get it on target. Now let go of everything. How far did it move? Less than an inch. That's ultimately what I'm trying for. On target with whatever adjustments necessary with the bag, with the actual air bladder. You need to go up a little bit, let a little air out. Tiny adjustments. Use the air for tiny adjustments, and then all you have to do, and I'm barely touching the gun right now, little cheek. I could probably lower my cheek piece actually, and I'm not used to the trigger cam being on here since it's been so long it's hitting my hat. It's essentially, we're going for almost a free recoil. You guys know what free recoil is in PRS, where you got a gun set on a barricade or whatnot and you're taking your shoulder out of it and everything. You've got the bag doing all the work for you, you're on target, and you come in and touch the trigger, the gun comes back, because everybody knows that that's the most stable. When you start putting shoulder into it and putting body into it, you're going to move. You got you can see your heart rate in the reticle, all those things. So in competition, it's hard to, you know, concentrate on every single shot, you know, where everything's perfectly adjusted for every single shot. You're going to have to put a little bit of human element into it just for the time's sake. The really cool thing about the airfoil bag is that with the bipod's ability to track straight back, if you have some sort of skis, and I recommend that if you're running the airfoil bag, have some sort of skis. Don't have like rubber feet on your bipod, because those things have a tendency to want to chatter or move or bounce. You want this gun just to come straight back, like it's on a track. And ultimately, when you'll shoot around in that recoil and it comes straight back, and you're going to be right back on target or really close to it. And sometimes you might get a little bit where you need a little bit more air, and I've had a couple of people that have had that, and what it ends up being is there's a little bit of air on top of the sand. When you fill the airfoil bag with sand, you're going to want 10 pounds, and you're going to want to try to take as much air back out of the inner bag as possible, so that there's not an air bubble sitting on top of the sand, and then you got your stock sitting right on top of that air bubble. The ones that I'm selling through the store that are filled, I'm actually putting them in a 3 mil vacuum sealed bag, and so I vacuum all the air out, and it's like a rock in here. I tuck them, I do all the 9 yards, and then pro tip, I take a pin, a really small needle, and poke one single hole right in the center of the top of the bag to let the air out and let it equalize. That way, if I'm shipping one to Colorado, it doesn't turn into a balloon. I want to be able to, you know, ship it anywhere, and it's going to pressure equalize, and then ultimately you put the stock on there, any air that's in it's going to come out. You're sitting right on the sand, and if there is air in there and you shoot, the sand's going to want to cascade a little bit, and then ultimately that could end up causing you to settle in between shots. I want you to be able to take a shot and be able to come right back on target and not have to really make any adjustments. If anything, it's just a tiny pump. Like you might shoot and it's off by, you know, a half of an inch or, you know, 0.2 mils, and then just a tiny pump puts you right back on. So with the airfoil, so these are 4 inches apart, so roughly 4 or 3, it's 3 inches apart. Those dots are 3 inches apart. If I do one full pump, it's basically, was that 1.5 mil, 1.6, 1.7. It's so fast to transition between targets, and it's so stable. Take your human element out. Right now, I just have my fingers resting here. My hands just resting underneath the bag. I can put it anywhere. I could leave it on the pump if I wanted. My cheek is, actually I could lower this cheek piece down just a little tiny bit. I feel like I'm just putting a little bit too much cheek into it. I need to lower it just a bit. I hear people say, you know, that you have to control your heart rate and all these things, and to an extent it might help, but if you can get the gun settled on target without having to put a bunch of effort into it, this is going to be more stable from the start. You're going to have a lot less movement, obviously, if you can just sit right on the target, come off the gun. I don't even know where it's at right now. Still on the bullseye. And literally I didn't do anything. I'm just going to come in. Break the shot. A good muzzle brake is also a key to this, because if your gun recoils a lot, you're gonna be a little bit trigger shy and about shooting this way, because it might hurt you. And another thing is a really awesome trigger. You know, so if you got a heavy, nasty trigger, just squeezing the trigger is going to pull you off. So this is a Trigger Tech Diamond. This is actually the one that they gave me. This is the gold diamond they gave me when I set that record 2 years ago at 4,134 yards, and it's engraved 4,134 yards on the side. Did I say 41 or 31? I don't know. 4,134 yards, 2.35 miles. It's engraved on the side. Trigger Tech, you guys are awesome. And so I'm going to take a few shots. I'm going to take the trigger cam off for a few minutes. I have a little bit of load development to do on my 33XC. I've got a client coming out in a couple of weeks for some training, and I'm trying a new powder in this thing. I think it's going to work really good, and something that's actually available. And since I was running 8133 and it's impossible to get now, it's been discontinued. So I'm going to take a few shots, and then I've got 3 shots I'm going to take at 1465. Put a group on steel at 1465. I forgot my Kestrel, so I'm going to completely wing it and see if I can put a nice 3-shot group on the plate down there without just by looking through the scope and just guessing at the environmental. So let's see if I can pull that off or not. So I'm seeing like a 10-30 wind. The Mirage, man, I'm gonna say it's maybe about 4 miles an hour. I'm just gonna kind of guess, and truthfully, at 1465, I think I'm close enough that it's not gonna be that big of a deal. It should be within the plate. Let me make sure I'm recording. All right, we're on. So you can see the Mirage coming, you know, and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna guess .8 left. We need to come up 10.8. Got to go up 1 click on the bipod. That's how quickly I can get on target. I came off of it though and moved a little bit, so I can actually make a little bit of an adjustment, because ultimately you're going to try to manipulate the gun to get on target. No matter where the gun's at, no matter where the reticle is, your natural instinct is to make that correction with your hand, squeeze, release, more cheek, whatever it's going to take to put it on target. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to where you can actually come off the gun, put it on target without touching the gun, and then come in and take the shot, and you're going to have a lot better follow through, a lot better recoil management, and you're going to find yourself getting better accuracy just because of those factors. And I guarantee, and it might be proven in time, that with other types of bags, when you're putting a load on the back of the stock, you're becoming a detriment to yourself. So I can't pull the trigger for you, but I can help you. I can help you be more accurate. I got a slight amount of cant in it. I'm gonna adjust. There we go. Good morning, cattle. Oh, mount's loose on my radar. There we go. Okay. Now the Mirage is going right to left. So we're almost in a headwind situation. That bird just fly by. I look for other factors downrange to kind of get an idea what the wind is doing between here and there. So I'm going to take some of this out. Actually, I never put it in the first place. If I had to guess, man, I bet it's almost a heads-up hold. But the plate's almost a mil wide, so it's pretty forgiving. Let's just go heads up and see if my gut's instinct is right. All right, here we go. There's a flasher on there, a magneto speed flasher. So let's see what happens. Come off the gun. Little adjustment. Impact. Now, if you notice, the trigger cam just hit me right in the face. And that's because I'm not used to shooting with it on. That's that free recoil, huh? It's okay, first round impact. It's worth it. So I'm about to put a little more shoulder into it. Get used to having it on here. But I want to put a group on that plate, so we got to move before the conditions change. Here we go. Impact. Impact. I love that. All right, let's go down range and see what we did on plate. Hopefully it's like, I doubt it, but that'd be rock and roll, wouldn't it? I've arrived down at the plate, and there's what I've got. It's my 3 impacts. Not sure what order they were in. There was a little too much mirage. It looks like my vertical on that, since I forgot my tape measure, luckily my book, I'm gonna say it's about 7.5 inches or so. That right there is just a little bit of wind. I like the fact that they're all pretty well centered up on the water line. That's kind of what I was looking for. So it looks like that load is going to work really well. I put the first 3 on paper. I was doing a small OCW test. So that was my first load, second load, third load. The 4th load is on the plate. This was from last week. This was clean cold plus 3. That was the best note I found speed-wise. So basically, this 4 was in between this right here. So it looks like it's going to work pretty good. So got a client coming out. I think he should be pretty happy with it. So back to what we were talking about with stability. Obviously, I'm pushing the Airfoil bag because it's my own design, and I've had so many people reinforce to me how great it is and how great it's been for them. And so I'm just taking it to the next level. I'm going to be putting them on Amazon soon, have an Amazon store. I've still got the website, ryancinielr.com. Got a bunch of different color profiles and stuff. And I also have the Airfoil L, the low boy, that's going to be coming out pretty soon. It's an inch shorter. It's great for when you're shooting really far and you got to get the buttstock closer to the ground rather than making a bipod elevation change. You can just lower the bag. If you're shooting at an up inclination, like say you're down at Raton, New Mexico, you're shooting up in the mountains, you're shooting anywhere at an up angle, the bag works fantastic. And I'm just going to keep growing the product line to whatever you guys need. If anybody has an idea for something, if you need something custom made, if you have a stock that's a little weird and you say, hey, can you make it like this? It might work better for me. I can. I've got a laser cutting out parts for me now. I can make it custom. Just send me an email, ryancinielr@gmail.com. So thanks a lot for the support, guys. I hope you learned something today. If you need anything, hit me up. I'm always here. I'm here to help make you a better shooter. I want you guys to message me saying how you went from shooting an inch down to a 1/4 of an inch. That's what I'm talking about. Even 1/2 an inch. Take 3/8. I like 3/8. 3/8 is a good round number for my gun. So thanks a lot for the support, guys. See you soon. And also, my head's okay. I got a little bump there, but I'll be fine. I'm tough.